I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're starting our November 1st agricultural meeting, or Agricultural Advisory Commission meeting, I should say. And I'd like to make a motion that we accept the minutes as they were written from last month. Anyone second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, they passed. Moving forward, we have some new business. We have some people here today from the EDC and also our town planner. And they would like to chat with us a little bit to discuss our current activities and any other areas that we may be able to work together on. So if you would like to start, anyone?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. My name's Todd Donahoe. I'm the chairperson for the Dudley Economic Development Committee. Thank you very, very much for inviting us for a joint meeting. We've been actually meaning to get together to see if there's anything that we can do jointly together to help each other in regarding, whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. We've been doing a lot over the last several years, even through COVID, working with the town planner, Mr. Scanlon, doing a lot of different things in regards to trying to drive business and make Dudley, a destination and for folks that are looking to open businesses. We feel that, as you probably all feel the same way, there's an awful lot of things going right in Dudley. We have so many different things that are going on. We've got a college here. We've got industry. But we've talked time and time again that the history of Dudley is farming and agricultural. So, it's kind of long overdue us finally get to meet you all, introduce ourselves, and maybe we could even just kind of quickly go around, if that's okay. Our committee. A quick little introduction, who we are, and what we do, and then maybe open it up. And Bill, if you could maybe make some comments in regards to maybe some updates as to what we have going on. But again, my name's Todd Donahoe. Been with the Economic Development Committee for several years now. I actually work at Hometown Bank. I'm a commercial loan officer, do a lot of business lending, so I get to meet a lot of the business owners in the local areas, and I'm just very, very happy to be here.
My name is Kelsey Buccelli. I have been with the Economic Development Committee since late spring, early summer of this year. I own my own CPA firm here in town, and likewise work with some small business owners as well as individuals in town.
My name is Mark Marziotti. I've served on a number of boards throughout probably the past 20 years, from planning board, but prior to that was master plan committee, and we used to have one of those. And I've been part of the economic development committee probably for about a year and a half. In fact, I was pretty excited to visit with you guys because I had just come on when John Breyer had, and his board at that time had kind of created this group, and I'm so excited to see that you guys are still meeting, and I'm particularly interested in learning, about if that hadn't been formed, would you guys have stayed together? Would you have met? How would your businesses be different at this time if that hadn't been created? Because it gives us a great sense of pride to be able to help, create that sort of thing. And that's what Todd was just talking about. If there's some things that you need, whether it be resources or manpower or some of those sort of things, maybe we can help get you guys to the next level if that's possible. I'm a realtor, investor, and an entrepreneur in the town, and equally meet with local businesses and whatnot, and residents. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Bill Scanlon, acting town planner. I've been with the town now a couple of years. I primarily provide staff assistance to the planning board, where we review development proposals and act on zoning amendments and strategize about how the town should grow and develop. I do a lot of grant writing as well. Work with town staff on various projects like street betterments and water and sewer improvements, that kind of thing. I'm also staffed at EDC. We meet monthly or so, try to facilitate meetings, get the committee to think about long-range economic development, what the committee can do to foster that. So I'm kind of a jack of all trades to help out wherever I can.
Awesome, thanks.
I'm Ellen LaPreze. I've been with the Economic Development Committee since 2011, long time, in various positions. Let's see, I'm self-employed. I have a business. We sell daylilies internationally, and one of our daylilies just won the highest award, which is the Stout Medal. This was
Wow.
recent. Yeah, it was a big deal. So, anyways, and we look forward to hearing from the Agricultural Commission and see what we can do to help. Yeah, I talk with Chris Ann from time to time, probably the most regularly. Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
And we have one other board member that's not here tonight. Jonathan
Sean,
Angelevich,
yeah.
he works for Ramco,
Right.
and he's pretty involved with a lot of local businesses as well.
Yeah.
And Joanne is not here as well.
And Joanne Senzak,
Yeah,
and
that's
she's a
right.
realtor a lot longer than I have been around here, so she knows a lot more people than I do, for sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's our board.
Yeah.
Okay. And we can introduce ourselves, too. I'm Linda Lorkevich, and I'm the chairwoman for the Agricultural Commission. I work for an environmental services company, and I've been in the town all my life. My family's been here for now over 100 years, and we've always had a little farm. You know, nothing big scale, but there's always been farming going on our land. So, lifelong resident.
And did you have crops this year?
Hay.
Okay,
I grow hay.
yeah, and you sell it
'Cause-
locally?
Yeah, to my neighbor. We work together
Good.
because he has some horses, so.
Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Katie Rosinas Hansen. I'm also a lifelong resident of the town of Dudley. Currently, I work for the Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources. I am both the Mass Dairy Promotion Board Coordinator, and I do ag education and agritourism programming throughout this state. So I've been with the committee since also early spring. So happy to be here, and happy to be working with you guys. It's always great to collaborate within the town.
Awesome.
Chris Ann Kepke. I have not lived here all my life, but my husband's family has been here since 1910.
Only 1910?
Only 1910, yes. Our business, where we are now, they've been in the family since 1910. And he was in Webster before that, so it's been a while. We run Walnut Lane Farm. We have our own grass-fed and finished beef operation. We sell raw milk, pork, chicken, veal, eggs. I think that's it. That we grow right there on the north end of town.
What's the name of the farm again?
Walnut Lane.
My name is Lynette Lepper, born and raised in Dudley. Was absent for about 18 years as I followed my husband around the world for his Navy career. Came back and started just last year a flower farm on family property. So we do heirloom tomato seedlings in the spring and bouquet delivery service over the summer months.
I'm Victor Kelgren. I think we came to Dudley 40-some years ago. Don't know exactly how many. And we bought the farm on Ramshorn Road, and we milked cows there for Pleasant View Farm. We milked cows there for 40-some years, almost, I guess. And then we retired from milking cows twice a day. And now I had bought the Bates farm, Howard Bates and Sylvia Bates' farm, because we needed more land at the time. We've sold the farm on Ramshorn Road. It's just too much to try to do both at my age, the hay, and so now we just have the old Howard Bates farm that we own, and we do hay, we raise beef. And I was chairman for a while on the committee, and I've seen a lot of good things come out of the committee. John did a great job starting this up. We couldn't have done it without him, obviously. And, from town events, and we've had students from Bay Path come and try to get interested in agriculture. And we've had lots of different visitors come to our meetings. And it's been very profitable for the town to get out the word about what Dudley is about when it comes to agriculture. And now we've got signs that are going to be going up right to Farm Town. And I just think that there were several instances that happened, and I think we were a help to those events in the town. And that's our main focus, is to be an advisory to other entities of the town, the selectmen, the planning board.
And also to promote agriculture in the town.
Right, in other words, if you have a question about agriculture, yes, come to us.
Mhm.
And just recently, with the work done on the town tank, that's over 100 years old. They just redid our town tank on end of Bates Road. And they own 1 acre, the town owns 1 acre that it's on, that's on my property. And there were some issues that came up, because the farmland around there was affected. And by working with the water department, I had some real good relationships with the water department and solved the problems. And so that's what we're here for, basically. But also to get the word out about agriculture. And we've had some great events. I hope some of you might have come to some of our events. We had this past time on the Apple Festival and the craft fair for the old tavern. And we had a lot of visitors, and kids painted pumpkins.
Even though we got a visit from Hurricane Ian.
Oh my God, that's right.
And it was wet and rainy, but we still had a pretty good turnout.
A lot of interest and questions, and we gave out a bunch of free seeds
Yeah.
that Lynette got for us, and so that's
And
what
people
we
took
do.
some of the information that we had too on different plants and how to maintain them over the winter. And then we had some info about the Asian longhorn beetle and other topics that are relevant right now to what's going on out there.
And are these folks that may be looking to start their own farms, or?
No, they're
these are
just
like
local.
Local folks that are?
Yep, that have their own little gardens. And
Oh,
But we are out there. If somebody is interested in looking at starting their own farm, we can help them, so
We've had people come to our meetings
We
in the
have.
past that
had some
starting up.
interest.
Hemp farms.
yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
So you all have pretty active farms that there's, either byproducts that you're reselling or
Mhm.
bartering or whatever. How many other people in this community are doing what you're doing?
There's a few more,
Yeah.
but not many. A lot of the farms, the younger generations don't
Yeah.
want to pursue it.
Right,
So they're just doing whatever they have to minimally to
yeah,
keep
Sustain
it.
okay.
But there are other farms.
There are some
I'll
other.
Just bring up one that used to be our neighbors over on that part of town where he still does a lot of wood. Sells a
Mhm.
lot of wood, and
He
you
sells-
rent land from them.
But he makes hay too and sells hay.
And the farm
Dickie
that
and
you
Deborah
sold.
Easterbrook, and they used to milk cows, but that farm's
Yeah.
very active,
Yeah.
Yep. And then the farm that you sold, that's Farmer Tim now,
Yeah.
right?
that does
Yeah,
the
he's pretty
CSA.
active,
Oh,
pretty
a lot of
active.
active.
CSA and,
Yep.
yeah, that's great.
I know you do most of the farms farm hay. Is that very profitable? It sounds, no?
No, I mean, hay
Yes
probably
and
is
no.
more now than corn. It used to be a lot of corn when there were dairy, a lot. You know, when I moved in there, I don't know, I bet there had to be, 30 dairy farms at once?
There were more
There were
cows than
over
people.
40. There were over 40.
Really?
So in
dairy
the
farms.
past 40 years, they've
Right.
but a lot of it is hay now because
Well, and a lot of it is rented to other farms in the area. There are a
Yeah.
lot of farms.
Mhm.
There are a lot of cows still in Woodstock, being milked in Woodstock. So a lot of those farms come up to Dudley and farm the land. So the land is staying open. I think Dudley, I could be wrong, but I think Dudley has the most land in APR, Agricultural Preservation Restriction, in the entire state.
And there's a lot of people
far
that
as
have
the town.
horses too that come around
Yep.
looking for hay.
Hmm.
Not just in Dudley, but in other towns
Right.
too.
and there are farms and neighboring towns that rent land in Dudley also.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the person that sells a lot of corn on the corner of, is it Pierpont?
The corn lady.
Yeah.
Debbie
Yeah,
Gatsby.
they have, huh?
Debbie
Gatsby.
Gatsby.
Yeah.
Is there a farm in Dudley?
The land
the-
is in Dudley.
The land is in Dudley.
But I don't think that they grow the corn.
They don't grow the
No.
corn. No, they
They
buy
grow
that
tomatoes.
in. They
Ah.
grow the
They have
potatoes
some
and the
vegetables.
cucumbers and
Yeah.
stuff. All the other things they have, they grow. Some
Right.
I think they grow even in their front yard. I mean, my parents live right down the street from them, and every time I go by, they have a big thing in their front yard, as well as some of the farm as well. Gatsby
No one's
Farm.
growing corn in Dudley?
Sweet corn,
No.
Yeah.
Well, I have one corn field
Oh.
that I rent.
Yeah.
but not sweet corn bit.
Oh, sweet corn, no.
Oh,
No.
So
A lot of
yeah.
cow, a
Field
lot of
corn,
cow
field
corn. Cow corn.
yeah,
Yeah.
California.
A lot of sweet corn in gardens, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are missing the boat maybe on, I paid, I think $12 for 4 dead corn stalks for decoration.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, maybe more profitable than the corn. but-
Oh,
And then there's Mary's Garden up on the corner
Oh,
of
yeah.
Tracy Road.
Tracy Road.
We used
She
to
has-
sell corn
Oh, yeah.
stalks.
She has a farm over there where she grows her vegetables. It's just seasonal.
Are there
So,
any farm-to-table operations in town?
that would be probably like Farmer Tim maybe?
I mean, I know it's not
No.
in town. I know the Rose Room does it, but they're in Webster. They do a lot of farm to table.
So they support a lot of local agriculture.
Throughout
The Rose
the
Room.
town.
Yeah.
The Rose Room, yeah.
That
I
seems to
can't
be
think
a
of a
trend.
town
Mm-hmm.
here. It's from the agritourism side. It's
Yeah.
very up and coming. People want to go back to the roots and
Yeah.
have dinners on the
Couple of
farm
them in
and
Putnam.
stuff.
One in Thompson, one in Putnam.
Very possible. yeah.
Elizabeth's.
I'm
Elizabeth.
not
Elizabeth's Kitchen.
100% sure on that.
Yeah.
The price
Do
of
they farm
fertilizer to grow those 4 corn stalks has doubled.
Yeah.
I think it was
$500 a
$6
ton last year. I paid $1,000 a ton this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And of course, price of diesel fuel is just crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
unbelievable. Yeah.
What would you, what are your biggest, obstacles or concerns that you might have for the future of your farms? If you have any.
I mean, succession is a big thing. I
Succession.
mean, I don't personally
Like you were saying,
farm.
finding the young
But
generation to.
yeah, I mean, my parents both grew up farming. We had Rosina's farm over on Ramson Road, and my mother grew up at Shivick's farm in Oxford, and succession is a really difficult thing, especially when you have such a labor-intensive farm like Victor, and not saying yours isn't, but, you know.
Mine isn't by design.
But by design, you know, when you're taking care of animals, that is
that's
a
a-
24
You were telling
hours.
me about this whole robotic
job.
thing, that they don't even,
Yes,
like the
they can
robots
do-
milk the cows now, which
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
the
you-
cows seem to enjoy it, right? I'm only kidding. But,
But that's expensive,
I
of
can't
course,
even
unless
imagine.
you can get a grant through the state or USDA. I mean, livestock, that's the hard part about it. It's 365 days a year. You know, at least vegetable farming, flower farming, you get a little bit of break in the winter and in that early spring, but
yeah.
Animals you don't.
animals, you don't. You
Nope.
can't just say, I'm going to go away on vacation. You mind just
Yeah.
hanging out while
You
I'm
wait
gone.
here.
Yeah, you wait here.
You just
Yeah,
you'll be
you
all
just
right.
Wait, all right? Hopefully you'll be back and alive.
Because I used to have cows too at one point,
Yeah,
but it just got to
Too
be
much
too
work.
much.
too much work.
Yeah.
And the dairy, like just.
No, they were beef.
They were beef.
They were beef, but you like she said, you can't go anywhere when you have, and that's a turnoff for a lot of younger people because they all want to go places, see things. They
Yeah.
don't want to be tied down to animals.
Yeah.
I know one
You know?
one challenge that we're facing right now is that we don't have enough land. We own about 80 acres and then farm 230 all total, probably rented land. But as far as like owning under our control, because we've changed the way we do things, we used to be wholesale dairy, sold to Gorelick, they picked up milk every other day. 2017, we sold most of our milk cows and went more to the beef and the small scale raw milk dairy. We are practicing regenerative agriculture, which is like low input kind of stuff, like where Victor was talking about fertilizer costs. We don't spread fertilizer anymore, so it's not organic. It's better than organic. That's our marketing line anyway. But it's just getting more back to nature. So we move our beef cows every single day, at least usually 2 groups. We have mamas and babies and then feeders, and every day they get new grass every day. So it's labor intensive. It's what we do. So it's not, I'm not complaining about that, but it takes a lot more land than we have available. And the cost to purchase, partly not because of the land is an APR, but just it's, because we're Massachusetts, it's not necessarily economical. And finding people that are willing to sell the land too is not even economical. So we're kind of at a crossroads right now where we need to decide how to proceed.
But even if there is land, sometimes it's not farmable. I mean, look at all the swampland next to you guys. It's, some land's there, but it's not made for farming.
Really? And then how staffing wise, I know you were saying every business owner that I talk to, they're like, oh, you can't find, that's the help. And you see it wherever you go out now. It's just I drove by a Dunkin' Donuts, not in town, but it said, sorry, we're closed due to no staff. And I'm like, on a Sunday morning, I'm like, holy mackerel. But it sounds like what you had just described, that would be very labor intensive, and that how many people you need to operate your farm.
Well, and you need to be able to pay said people. So it's because we're direct to consumer now, so we in theory control the margins, but you have to have your prices where people are willing to pay too. If you price more than somebody's willing to pay, then it doesn't matter how good your stuff is if nobody buys it.
And you said you had mentioned before that Gorelick would come every day and pick up milk.
Yeah.
Do you have retail stores at your farms where people can just show up and buy?
We have a store on our farm. We're open 4 days a week.
Oh wow. Okay.
That people can come to.
And when we were milking cows, we had a retail store. We sold milk and eggs and veggies and stuff. But our 2 kids, there's no money in it anymore.
Right.
And milking can be tough. Chrisanne sells raw milk. Unfortunately, she can't sell that off of her farm. She can only sell on farm. That's the rules in Massachusetts. If you're going to process your own milk, you have to have a processing center unless you are part of a cooperative that is going to send that milk out, process it, and then sell it under a bigger brand, whether that's Cabot, Gorelick, Agrimark, and DFA are the 2 biggest cooperatives.
Oh wow.
So it all costs money. Farming is not it is a labor of love, that is for sure.
And then if you have a piece of equipment that breaks, well, you better be handy to fix it.
Wow, yeah.
Because buying a new piece of
those big John Deere
equipment,
things aren't cheap?
no, unfortunately not. Even the little things that go behind them that you pull to cut hay and stuff.
I know.
You break one little piece that's like this big, you can bet it's not going to be less than at least $100 to $200.
Wow. Unbelievable.
So it's an
I think
expensive.
A lot of that goes to support too. Like there used to be when there were 40 dairy farms in town, and there were a lot more small businesses to support that sort of thing. Veterinarians, equipment dealerships, all that. Not necessarily in Dudley, but just in the area, and we've lost a lot of that too.
Right.
You have to go a lot further all the time to.
It used to be if you needed a piece of equipment, you could go to a dealer locally, and just get it and drive it home.
Right.
And now, I can get that for you next month,
Yeah,
Next month, right.
And that's not going to do you any good when you have a field of hay that's ready to be baled. Your baler breaks and it's going to start raining.
Wow.
You can't wait 3 to 4 days for a part to come in.
Is it just bartering with other farmers and stuff, calling around just
Sometimes.
to be like, hey, no pun intended.
Do you have this part?
Right. Do you and take care of, we're all in this together kind of a thing.
It's working out pretty good for us on sowing our hay because we have it on a system.
Mhm.
And we have a lockbox where they put the money in.
Oh.
And my son's already said he's gonna keep that going because you don't have to be there.
Right,
You know, you have to do the hay, which is a lot, but you don't have to be sitting there.
yeah,
And I have calls every day for hay.
wow.
There's a lot of people that have animals that need feed.
Hmm.
I have
And with
calls
the drought
every
this
day.
summer.
I don't have enough, you know, they say, do you have any hay? I said, well, how much do you need? Oh, only a couple hundred bales. I said, no, I don't, I can't take you on. I have it there. I tell them I have to put 20 bales out at a time
Hmm.
to try to get through with my regular customers, you know. But I could just sell out immediately because there's a big demand for hay. And in fact, someone came and did the old, I can't think of the last name of the farm now, going out to Oxford.
Oh,
Kalisa?
Calissa's.
Yeah, there's a big farm, used to be a dairy farm, two brothers, and somebody, it wasn't cut, but somebody come and cut the hay from, do you know who it is?
Yeah, one of the Rosebrooks from Oxford.
Do they have a beak cows? Or?
No, he wants to sell it.
Oh, okay. There is a lot of land in town that I always thought maybe a young guy who was good at fixing equipment could start, because my old hay fields somebody cut a little bit, but they haven't been getting cut. And they grew up to trees so fast. There's a lot of land in Dudley that has just disappeared as farmland. It's, fresh land and forest.
Wow.
But there is a lot of land that could be cut, and there's a big demand for hay, but I don't know, equipment's crazy, the price.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I forget when, it was a number of months ago, we had somebody, maybe it was even like a year ago, but in regards to, the big thing of, like, I think you may have mentioned growing hemp, but also like just the whole big thing about, growing marijuana and this, that, and the other. Has anybody ever approached you? Is that any,
Oh, they've been to
is
our
that,
meetings,
is
yeah.
that
Yeah.
even like, what are your thoughts on that?
Katie, what's your thought from the state side?
Jesus. I will not speak on
behalf of the state.
No, I will not speak on behalf of the state. I will speak on behalf of myself as a citizen. I mean, it's legal
Right.
in Massachusetts. Unfortunately, something that a personal observation that I've had is that it's very difficult to get zoning in the town for different marijuana
Okay.
productions. Just the few town meetings I've gone to, I know it's come up quite a few times.
Right, we had worked with the Dohertys, have a farm up on Corbin Road.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And
Yep. That was
we
just
brought
thinking.
that
That was-
to town meeting twice.
That was the big one,
Yeah.
yes, that we've seen, because I remember I went to town meeting 1 or 2 town meetings ago, and
Yes, right.
that was on the docket, and I know that was tabled. I don't know whatever became of that, but it was
I
tabled.
think they went to grow
Yeah.
roses this year, didn't they? They completely.
I think
Well, they
did.
tried twice
They-
with hemp,
It-
and
yes, that parcel of land has been up for,
You know, I think
so many times.
if your committee got behind that idea, we could try it again. I mean, I think there could be support for it if it was presented in the right way. So if you felt that that was an opportunity for farmers to grow marijuana on their fields, we could try it again, but it needs more education and
Yeah,
more
well, and-
publicity.
And this is the thing, and like I said, this is my own opinion. The tough thing about that is there's a lot of misconception, like you said. There needs to be a lot of education, I feel, because the complaint that they had, I think they were growing hemp, and they
They were.
had the complaint a few times that they had to burn because
Didn't
the
meet certain-
THC was just a little too far over the threshold, and they had to burn. So I know there was a lot of
Right, right.
unrest in the neighborhood on that, because people don't want to smell that if that's not
Sure.
what they signed up for with buying their houses. But what people don't understand is if you zone that as marijuana, they don't have to burn, right? Because there is no threshold to be over at that point. So sometimes it's actually better on the other end, and I'm not, and that's just my own thought process, how I kind of worked it out. But I mean, it's a growing industry. We have towns left and right coming up with farming, and I mean, if we can get our farmers or our townspeople to make some revenue why not allow that then to have another town do it? That-
You know, we have two
Just me.
marijuana cultivation facilities approved in town,
Mhm.
one on Fish Road and the Chase Mill.
Mhm.
Yep.
They haven't started building them yet, but they've been approved. They have the Cannabis Control Commission licenses and their special permits from the planning board. So that might,
It's all indoor grow, right?
Mhm.
yes. I don't know whether there's any linkage that other farmers in town could provide them
Yeah.
with any kind of services or products that they might use in their operations, but it's maybe something to think about if you can identify any services or products that they might need, and it would be natural for them to buy local.
Yeah.
So is it difficult to grow hemp without it becoming, like you had said, that
That little
we
bit.
heard a couple different stories. Because we heard, when this council was first put together, there was a discussion about an acre of hemp could yield about $100,000 in revenue. And you think about that and say, that's not bad, you've got
Yeah, that's
280
pretty
acres
good.
of land, you know?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
is there
in
like
there.
some magic to not, not making there be too much THC in it, or is it seed, or? how-
Has it been tested at the right
That I'm
stage?
not
Yeah.
sure of. I'm not an expert. I'm not one of the hemp inspectors, obviously, at the department.
And there's a lot of gray areas.
There's a
with
lot
hemp.
of gray area. There's a lot of like exactly when you test it,
Mhm.
and sometimes I mean it's a plant, right? It can do kind of what it
Yeah,
wants to
right,
do.
right,
Sometimes
right.
if it's too close to another plant, I mean I'm not really sure. I am not. I'm
I
far.
don't know what's wrong.
I'm
but
not-
I
I'm
bet
far
Mother
from
Nature
expert.
has a lot to do.
And that's what I
Yeah.
think that a lot of that.
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
And I can only imagine if you grow an acre of that and you find out that you have to burn it all, I'm not gonna go and do that again,
Yeah,
right?
I
Because
mean,
those
and that's the
plants are very
thing.
expensive.
It's not a fun thing to have to watch
Right,
all of your
right,
hard work
Right.
burn, and I
Right.
mean that's money
Yeah.
that you've put into
Fertilizer,
it, and
water. yeah.
it's frustrating. And I mean, I know that parcel of land has come up many times in the town for different uses, and I think what our goal is as the agricultural commission is to keep it agricultural. I mean, I think
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah.
really what our big thing is. We have all this land. I mean, I think in the state there's 7,241 farms. I could be misquoting that, but we want to make sure we're protecting anything that is farmland, to keep it farmland, to keep it from being developed or turned into something else. We like to keep our right to farm community a right to farm area.
Well said.
And with our education and stuff that we've been doing with the public, we're hoping to try to get some of the younger people interested in gardening or growing different kinds of crops. So that's why we've been doing like the Ag Day up at the Common, and we've been thinking about some other events to try to start next year. In springtime, we'll do the seedling thing, so hopefully more people will get interested in growing plants.
They're probably interested
So-
when you're having the hemp burn days.
Probably.
Yeah, big bonfire, sit around, roast marshmallows,
Where is it happening?
right.
Yeah, but burning hemp isn't the same as burning marijuana.
No,
We were gonna have soil samples on Ag Day, but that got canceled because of the rain.
Yeah.
But we have other things going on too. You're gonna be doing a class.
Yeah.
Just going to be doing a canning class coming up this early winter.
I mean,
So-
I think vegetable gardens are gonna become more and more important,
The big thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
the way things are going.
Yeah.
Well, I think COVID shined a light on the importance
Mhm.
of both supporting farmers, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we saw a huge jump in sales for farmers direct because there was no grocery store link.
Right.
It was perfect. You went to the farm, you got your stuff, and you went home kind of back to basics. So I think with growing your own, and that's what we're really trying to be about also, is education. I mean, with Lynette doing classes,
Yeah.
and us going to the plant hopping, going places, and having that interaction with the community to give them any information that they can. I mean, we were very not pleased that the soil testing got canceled, but we're pleased that people actually came up to us on that day and was like, I have soil, like, where's the soil testing? And we're like, we're so sorry, it just didn't work out with the rain, but it was nice to hear that that had gotten around and that people were interested in it, and
Right.
that's kind of prompted us to look into, can we have our own soil testing kit that when we go to events, maybe we can do that and have that as a service.
And how do you get the word out? Like for these events, whether it's stuff like that?
Lynette is a superstar over on the Facebook.
Like-
She does a great job. I mean, it's just posting it on Facebook.
Stuff
I
like
have-
that, social media?
press
I have
releases.
a Facebook page for our
Yeah,
commission.
press releases,
and
all of that.
Also, we're in conjunction with the Grange on their website under
Okay.
dudleyfarmers.com.
Yep.
So we have a section on that, so we post it there. We hang up flyers in different stores that we can, where we're allowed to, because there's a lot of stores that won't allow you to put anything up anymore. And word of mouth. That's pretty much it. And then we have Michelle put it out on the board, out in front. So that's how we've been getting the word out. And we were talking about, too, trying to possibly start working with the schools to see if they might be interested in any type of agricultural classes or, some sort of growing plants with the kids. But I don't know, we were just starting that.
How about the Voc schools? Do they have an agricultural program?
Not
No.
anymore.
They actually have a veterinary tech program.
Yes.
They have a veterinary tech program now that's fairly new
You're talking Bay Path?
at Bay Path, yeah.
Yeah.
There, I think the nearest Voc school is like,
Like agricultural?
Smith, yeah, Smith in Northampton.
is that
Or
way, but
Bristol.
isn't there
There's
one
one
out
in
towards like
Norfolk.
Rentham? Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's
there's
the
a
Yeah,
one.
we have the
Norfolk one.
Norfolk Aggie, we
Bristol.
have Bristol Aggie, there's a few other ones, but I know those are
But for our kids, there's really no. I mean, it would be
No.
great if we could ship them to Killingly Ag, but can't do that.
Yeah, that's and that's the hard part is technically I think it's a state law that any child that wants to go to an agricultural school, the town has to pay.
Our town went through that a few years ago.
Yeah, they
Even
have
if it's
to
out
pay.
of state?
I know it has to be
in
in the state, but like say you had somebody who was like, I'd like to go to Bristol
Yeah.
Ag School, the
Bay
town
Path
has to
used to
cover
have a
it.
nice, big VOAG program.
Really?
Yeah, they did.
I was on the crafts committee.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, what came up was, well, there's not many students taking it. Well, what percentage now are we of farmers in the country? It was at one point, 1%.
Right.
Yeah.
So, don't expect to have as many in the ag classes at Bay Path as you do automotive,
Right.
But that doesn't mean you don't need young people to know how to farm.
Yeah, I know there's a big push, especially right now within the Department of Agriculture, but also the Mass Food System Collaborative to push ag literacy in the classroom. And there's different organizations as well, like Mass Ag in the Classroom, that are trying to promote literacy in the classroom regarding agriculture.
They did start with something up at Bay Path. What was it? We had Bay Path here.
Yeah, they have a vet tech program.
Oh,
now.
that was it, yeah.
Mm.
Which is great,
I don't know how many kids
Is
they
it still
have.
going?
Yep.
So that was a great addition, or going back to try to get something for agriculture up there. So anytime you could influence the schools doing something like that,
That's it.
we're all getting older, and you need young people interested in keeping agriculture in Dudley.
Right.
I'd love to see a school garden up at the high school, middle school, something like that.
I'm a huge fan of Bay Path. I've had two daughters. One graduated last year, and one's a sophomore right now. My oldest daughter was in drafting, and my youngest daughter is in carpentry. But I know it's just by being there, talking to the heads of the shops and things like that, and there's just something to be said. Like during a shop week when I drop my daughter off, and she's got her work boots on, and and you look out and everybody's walking in and, dressed differently depending on what their shop is, but it's like they're learning skills, it's just they're taking something away, and my guess is I don't know, like how we'd be, I know they're in Charlton, right, but it is how could we help to reach out to them, to inquire about that, because that's huge. Just in regards to just having them, just like you said, whether it's like start off with a garden or some sort of a club, and then maybe have that develop into a trade.
They still have the greenhouse up there, don't they?
Do they?
I don't know if they do.
I mean, I know Shepherd Hill,
I
they
was
have
just
the
there.
Envirothon group. I know Lynette
Yeah.
has
Justin
talked to
Sancho
them. But yeah,
does a
they
great
have
job with
an
that.
Envirothon group that competes every year.
Really?
Yeah, so I mean, even to start there. I mean, I know that's Shepherd Hill here. I'm sure Bay Path could.
We used to have
Absolutely.
Bay Path kids in the ag department come to our farm and work.
I did too.
Like for co-ops? Like, because I know junior and senior
We
year,
didn't
they,
actually do the co-op, it was more class.
okay,
But yeah, there would be opportunity for co-op if,
yeah.
you know,
One of my
there just aren't that many.
one of my boys did automotive and he co-opted at home. So
Listen, we got a lot of farm equipment. Now it's a little bit different
we
than
had to
some of
take
the.
pictures of him like actually working on farm equipment. Yeah.
Do you, like, are there, have you ever, like, are there, has this ever happened where the, like, larger, bigger corporate farms try to come in and say, hey, listen, gonna write you a big check for like, in regards to taking over these family generational farms?
Not that I know
Dudley,
of.
what I've noticed is, over the years, is larger farms, because they need to get larger to support the
Compete.
family.
Yeah.
So your family farms now they're huge, but they're still family farms in the area. In other words, the one that rents my cornfield is from Woodstock, and it's a very large farm, but it's a family farm. It's run by the family.
I think a lot of it too is industry to industry. I know recently I learned that cranberries are being bought up. A lot of the bogs are being bought up by Canada and Canadian companies. I
Interesting.
guess Canada is trying to get into cranberry growing, and so I think it depends on the industry as well, and where you are in the state. Obviously, there's no cranberry growers here around us, but
Right.
down in the Cape Cod area.
Interesting. Are there any types of crops that you think that may not be farmed right now that, like, I remember, it might have even been John, I don't know if it was John Breyer, but like, I remember at one point we were talking about, like, like vineyards. People grow, like, the whole little, like, that's become really popular. Everybody either wants to have a microbrewery or a vineyard. I mean, are there other things that, I mean, you probably already thought about this, but just things that may not necessarily have been farmed that may have
Someone
potential?
had a vineyard one time in West Dudley.
West Dudley, yeah.
I have a
really?
bottle. I have one bottle of wine from Dudley.
You still have it?
I still have it. I don't want to open it. I'm not going to. Oh, no, I know. But I got it from my mom, and
Really?
it's just there. Yeah, it's first blush.
First
Do you
one.
know that in the Economic Development Plan of 2018, there's a recommendation to make Dudley the Napa Valley of New England?
Yes, I support
Really?
that.
I think Woodstock's a little ahead of us.
My 13-year-old keeps
But
thinking.
they're just right
we
down
need
the
to-
road, right? If they can do it, we can do it, right?
That's right.
It's like when like all the revitalization in Putnam. I mean, who would have thought Putnam? I remember years ago going like, okay, I think there was one place to go to eat. It was the courthouse or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, wow,
It's a
and
happening place.
One of the recommendations is begin marketing our agricultural lands to North Fork, Long Island wineries, and California wineries looking to expand. So I don't know whether there's an opportunity.
I wonder where that came from. Like
Interesting.
who
John Breyer.
Probably John.
yeah, John. I think John, I remember him, he was really thinking about like destination.
Yeah.
Like this could be that
Oh,
little,
yeah.
like, but how do you get some folks that are already doing it,
Yeah.
running these small,
Long-term,
Mm-hmm.
process to grow grapes
Yes.
Yeah,
to make
And
wine.
it's only
Is it
part-time
five years?
around here.
yeah, right?
7 maybe? I don't know.
How long it takes to grow grapes from one start to finish. It's at least 5 years.
Is it really? Wow.
7 to 9 years to grow a 6-foot-tall Christmas tree.
I was going to say Christmas trees are.
Christmas trees, 7 to 9 years. It's roughly a foot a year, depending on weather conditions.
Well, is, like right near I mean, it's not that anymore, the old clam box, Dresser Hill ice cream. There's Christmas trees right there.
Yeah, that's
And
Bigelow Nursery.
That's Bigelow Nursery. Now, I've been noticing those growing from when they were, and it's just about that the time. And because every year, ever since my kids were little, we go to Allen Hill Tree Farm, in Connecticut. I forget exactly where it is, but it's just because we knew the owner. But huge. But that's all they do is Christmas trees. But it is. It's just like, I mean, it's. I think last year I spent $80 on a Christmas tree, which is kind of nuts when you think about it. But
They're projected to go up, I think, the price.
I heard that.
I think
This year it's going to be a lot higher.
Wait, there's a shortage, right?
It's transportation, can't get them here.
Turkeys, what's coming up, what season?
Right.
There's gonna be a shortage.
I have
Shortage of
turkeys.
turkeys in Dudley.
Well, those are different turkeys, though.
Yeah, those aren't the turkeys we want to eat.
no, the ones that I almost hit with my car. and
Every
slammed
day
on
they
my
stop
brakes.
traffic on 31.
I don't know
Every
about
day.
those.
God, and we can't eat those. No,
Well, you can.
You can, I just,
Don't
they're
expect
not
them
going
to
be
taste like-
what you
Slow
take
cook
in the,
slow.
They're
Okay.
mangy birds, Tom.
they're gamey.
Oh God.
I mean, a lot of those are good ideas.
Your committee?
Yes.
Okay, was your committee put the questionnaire out on
No, that's conservation.
Yeah,
conservation?
no,
Wasn't it?
I don't recall. I don't
No,
think
that was the open
us.
space.
Open
Open
space.
space.
Oh,
Open
okay.
Space and Recreation, our other committee.
To put a
Well,
plug in, anybody who might
I'm-
be watching this video, please go to the
Yes.
Dudley website and fill out our survey.
It's
Mhm.
right.
I did that, but I was thinking that would be to your benefit to review that, I would think. Going by the questions that were on that, I would think your committee would want to be interested in that. That's
Sure.
just my opinion.
No, it'd be great to see what the survey says.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to find out.
Have you gotten many responses?
We have a meeting tomorrow night, so it's only been up for a couple of weeks. So we'll get a report from our consultant then.
Oh, I thought it said I had to do it before the 31st.
You probably did.
Just you.
I did.
That was it. It was just
I
you.
think we've extended it.
Yeah.
So people have more time.
Tonight.
So the rest of
Rush
us can
home.
go home and do it.
Just rush home and do it.
I did mine
Katie
last
did
meeting.
it in
I
the
did it
last
last
I
meeting.
did mine.
I did it before we started.
Well, because next
But judging by
Tuesday.
those questions, they
Yeah.
all what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any more insight, like from the 2018 stuff? You know, as far as what people think agriculture should be doing in town, or what?
That's a good question. I could look and see what past surveys have said and give you that information. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I think because I think like a lot of that is just like how many people are gonna do the survey. I remember we've done a couple of things where there really wasn't much response. I mean, it's
That's right.
we've talked about it many times where we appeal to the public. We need your help. And it's even if it's just ideas. We.
You'd be welcome to send some representatives to our farm day.
Yeah, absolutely.
And have a table there, or
Yeah.
just whenever they have something up there, we've found that to be beneficial. Because whenever people are going to, like, getting strawberry shortcake,
Right.
be there for them and, oh, who's this,
Mm,
Oh, this is the development committee.
right.
And that's what we try to do to promote us, is we're making our presence known at, like, the Grange Strawberry Festival
Right.
and the Apple Festival.
We bribe people though with free seeds and pumpkins.
Yeah.
We bribe. We try
Yeah,
to
we
bribe
give
the best
stuff.
we can.
Free soil tests in
Free
the
soil
future.
test, free pumpkins.
But,
We
but
try.
those are events that really, like, when we talk about like ways to say, hey, why is Dudley a really cool place to live, right? I mean, yep, we have a great school system. We've got I mean, when you think about our location, I know there's no, like, you can't just like go outside and hop on the highway, like really like right there. But we're an hour to Boston, an hour to Hartford, an hour to Providence. We're only 3 hours and something to New York City. I mean, like, this is a pretty awesome area to live. But it's like, all right, why else? Like, if you're coming to this nice little, farming town historically, what's there to do, right? I mean, like, and a lot of these, like, community events, whether they're farmers markets, the things like at the Grange and all these other things, that's what, I mean, it gets people out, and people want to do that, and then they hear about everything that's actually going on, because how many folks that are living in Dudley, that may be raising their families, have any idea that your farms are even in existence?
There's
like,
a lot that don't.
I mean, I'd love to be able to just be like, hey, geez, yeah, I'll go buy my milk there instead of going to, Market Basket or wherever. I mean, I'd rather.
WalnutLaneFarm.com.
What's that?
WalnutLaneFarm.com.
plug.
Shameless plug, but seriously, but I just think that these are the things locally that we have these like events and that hopefully become, whether it's quarterly, monthly, or annual event that people look forward to and stuff like that.
And we actually created a brochure, too, that we were handing out that has a map with the location of the farms that are in operation now.
Oh, wow.
Do you have
So
one of those for sure?
I don't know if I
would
still
be
have
really
one in
nice.
here. I might. I cleaned out a bunch of my stuff. Checking this one.
I
As
need more,
everybody's
Linda.
watching me go through my stuff.
So it has
I'm giving a lot of
Walnut
seeds away,
Lane, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Walnut Lane, have you seen over the past 5 years, have you seen an increase in retail sales?
Yes. So we didn't really start retail selling. I mean, we did some raw milk sort of on a system on the side, had a fridge,
Okay.
and people help themselves. We have focused that is our income now is retail direct to consumer. We do 2 farmers markets. We have a store on the farm. We have an online store with still pickup. We don't ship or anything like that. But and we have once a month drops now that our farmers markets are done. So in the towns where we do the farmers markets, we still serve our customers. We definitely have seen an increase. We could always have more.
That's great.
And we do have a lot of people. We have a little sandwich board at the end of our road with the store hours on it. And we have a lot of people that say, I drive by all the time and I just never come up the road, or I didn't know this was here. Because like you said, being in a farming town or whatever, we get to our house, to our farm, and we pretend that we're not like in the middle of Webster and Southbridge. You would never think that you are. And, 20 minutes from anywhere, you can get anything you need in 20 minutes.
Exactly, yeah.
But you can also not
You
go down the
mentioned the
road.
farmers markets.
Yep.
Are these, are they elsewhere or are they local?
No, so we do one in Sturbridge and one in Shrewsbury,
In Shrewsbury.
which I still consider both of those local. There are a ton of
And they're big.
farms like ours. They're not huge,
Okay.
but they're big enough, and I know Putnam has one too, because this committee, we've talked about doing it, a Dudley farmers market, and that was, Paul Joseph always wanted us to have a farmers market. I
Yeah.
don't know if John Breyer. It's not an easy thing to put together.
No.
And to find a time that works, that people can come. Shrewsbury and Sturbridge are my only experience as a vendor, and they're very different. Sturbridge is on the Common, it's on Sunday, it's like a destination kind of thing. They have
Right.
the band shell there, and usually they'll have entertainment, but it's free, like the performers who are there
Yep.
are donating their time, so if they get a better offer, then they don't come to the market. But they always have like a community table, they have cornhole.
You have to pay to attend?
We pay, at Sturbridge, actually, because the committee there wanted to really get it going, has not charged a fee. We pay a fee in Shrewsbury.
In Shrewsbury, yeah.
And the Timber Yard does a winter market just for these 2 months, November and December, and we have to pay to be there. We're going to do 2 days there.
I have a customer who actually started a bakery in Worcester. This past year he sold it. He actually lives in Charlton. And he was taught, it was birch tree bread. I don't know if you ever heard
Yeah,
of it.
I know
Really-
Rob, yeah.
Oh, you know Rob. And he would tell me that, even running the business, a big part of what they did was farmers markets.
Yeah.
And it was very, very profitable. But it's like a lot of these like festivals or especially in the fall where like crafts fairs and stuff where it's like you got to book it because these are like a lot of times you have to pay for a booth or you have to pay for a spot, but because it's especially if they're well established. But if there's something to just start one in Dudley, I mean that would be in just and whether it's at first maybe getting some, I don't know, do I dare say money from the town to get like entertainment or just to like reach out locally just to make it, because it's got to start somewhere, right?
I think with our ag days, it's sort of what we did one pre-COVID in the spring, or was it?
It was the fall.
October.
It was the fall.
October, and just had at the time Coué Farm in Fromagerie was in business still, and so they came and Farmer Tim came and we were there. Victor was there. I don't know who else was there as far as farm, like we wanted to be Dudley farms that were represented, and we set up like a little
The
mini,
cheese farm was there.
Yeah.
She said that.
a little mini market. But just the logistics that go into it, and from a farm business standpoint, it's not our ideal. I would rather have people come to me and buy without leaving the farm. It's good to get your name out there and to build clientele, but it's a lot of time. A lot of times things like I was going to bring my setup to the ag day, but then it was raining, it was cold. I said nobody's going to be coming to get apple crisp and want to buy frozen meat too at the same. It's not something you think about. So it depends. I mean, Birch Tree has, goodies that people can take and eat. You can stick a loaf of bread under your arm.
You're so right.
But you're not going to stick a roast, in your pocket. A frozen one anyway.
Like a lamb stuck in your arm.
But it's also
It's a tougher
difficult.
sell.
It's a difficult though for the farmer. I mean, you have to know the audience and
Right.
what you're doing, right? I mean, a lot of farmers realize they can go out towards the Boston area and charge a lot more for their products.
And I was going to say that.
I mean, here in Central Mass, I mean, I worked for 9 years with my grandmother at the farmers market in Holden and Worcester, and two completely different audiences, completely different
I bet.
demographics. I mean, you have different things, so it has to be worth a farmer's time. And
Right.
to find a time, I mean, Dudley isn't like, a place, I'm trying to think, like a Natick where, they have theirs on a Saturday and they're big common and they have like 30 vendors, and it's really worth it for the people, and they can walk there, right? There's accessibility.
Yeah, sure.
And I think that's something that we have kind of seen as might be a problem of when are we going to do it that we're going to get people to come, both consumers and farmers, and you have to make it worth it. Otherwise,
And if we
like
wanted to
Christine
open
said,
it-
she might be better off just staying at her farm and
Yes, yeah.
trying to do that, or other
Drive people
vendors.
to the farm, yeah.
Other vendors might be, doing that, and then sometimes you have to think about competition. I mean, obviously, we
Yeah.
want to prioritize our Dudley farmers, but some of them, they don't do farming full time. It's their part-time thing. They have a full-time job.
Right.
Yeah, and
So-
our big concern one time too was if we wanted to open it to other towns.
Yeah. Yep. Do you
Yeah.
We
open
wanna
it to
just
other
keep it-
towns?
Local or, just within Dudley.
Yeah.
There was a farmer's market in Dudley
Yeah.
at Marcus,
Yeah.
and it
There was.
was mostly craft people. The one time that I was home on a weekend visiting, and it was not anything that would
Qualify as a farmer's
incentivize
market.
people
Yeah.
to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Shrewsbury is completely different than Sturbridge as far as a market. It's on a Wednesday afternoon from 2:30 to 6:30. It's in the parking lot. I think next year they're going to move it to the grass in front of the town hall, but it's in a parking lot at the senior center. It's totally different vibe, and I was like, this makes no sense at all. But there are a ton of people who work there, who work at UMass, who are going down Route 9,
Yeah,
whatever.